so Etobicoke, which if you're not familiar with the city of Toronto, is still technically the city, but it's basically the suburbs. It's as far out of the city as you can basically get while still being in the city. And because of the way that like the lake wraps around, there's actually beautiful views of downtown Toronto, the CN Tower. It's actually quite gorgeous. But it's so far away from downtown that it's like a super weird neighborhood where like along the lake, there's literally like $2 million homes, literally on the waterfront. And then like a street north, it's like the sketchiest place. So when I was living there, I would always be like, okay, I need to get out of my damp, moldy basement apartment. I'm going to go walk to these parks on the lakeshore, and I'm going to just sit on these rocks near the lake, and I'm going to look out over the city, and it's going to be beautiful. So this one day I had this like nice one little spot that I like to go to. And this one day I go there and I'm like, oh, well, there's somebody already sitting on this rock. And I go, you know what? Like, I shouldn't care that there's somebody else here already, or I'm just going to sit and like be writing in peace or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, two people can share this rock. So I go and I sit down and, you know, we got our backs to each other and everything. We don't say anything. And I'm just kind of looking out and like thinking real deep. And then I'm like, I hear like a lighter go, right? And I'm like, oh, you know, like whatever. I don't smoke or anything, but like, you know, that doesn't bother me. And I keep hearing it going. I'm like, they must have a really, really hard time lighting their cigarette or whatever it is. And then I'm like, what's that smell?
Oh no.
And I'm like, and it's like, that's not like cigarette smoke. It's like, that's not like weed smoke either. And then I'm like, oh, that's crack. That's what crack smells like.
Which is like, very distinct.
Yes.
A very distinct smell.
But like, you know how you don't smoke crack, so you're not sure what crack smells like until you smell it? And then you're like, and then I'm like, oh, I should probably get up and leave, but I don't want to seem rude or like a prude or something. like I don't want to get up and have that person be like, hey, you got a problem with me smoking crack here? And I'll be like, no, it's fine. You see wrong, man. So I just like sat there for a few more minutes and being like, crack. So it's like long enough that it's like, no, I'm just leaving because I'm done writing and it's time to leave, not because you're smoking crack. And that's it. That's my I guess my villain of the week for ruining a nice little writing spot for me. Just or I guess the real villain is me being too polite to leave when somebody is smoking crack. My villain is my mental state right now is a villain. And just telling me what just as an example of where my brain is at and my ability to complete tasks. So earlier this week, I was doing laundry, and I'm on the 10th floor of an apartment building, and the laundry is, as it usually is, in the basement. And so I was at the point in which I was taking it out of the dryer and just needed to bring it back up. And for some reason, as often happens in buildings, the elevators just stopped working. I was waiting forever, like none were coming. I was like, something's fucked. I could hear the beeping in the elevator shaft. I was like, this is going to be a while. So I just ran down the 10 flights of stairs, and I was like, that wasn't so bad. And I grabbed all my stuff and I put it in the laundry basket. And I was like, fuck it. I'm young. I'm just going to run back up the stairs. No. I was like, apparently I've been sitting on my ass for a very, very long time and in horrible shape. In addition to that, I was, of course, wearing my mask. And I for the first time, understood what they meant when masks make it hard to breathe, because I was hyperventilating like a motherfucker. But I was climbing stairs. Like, it was intense cardiovascular, and it was just like sucking into my face. And here is the point at which the villain comes in. So I was fucking exhausted. I'm climbing these stairs, and I get to the 8th floor, because, you know, you're counting in your head. You're like 7, 8. And I get to the 8th, and there is such a clear voice in the back of my head that just goes, that's okay. This is good enough. Nobody's gonna fault you for doing 80%. 80% is great. Just stop now. This is good enough. And it was so real, and I had to fight it so hard. I literally said back to myself, like in plain English, like, you can't stop now. You live on the 10th floor. This isn't like stop at 8 out of 10 push-ups and that's good enough. It's like,
it's not a video game.
Right. You need to get back to the 10th floor because that's where you live. That's where your stuff is. And so just the fight I had to do to get that. And then I got to the 9th floor and it did it again. And my brain was like, this is it. I was like, no, we need to get to 10. There's no negotiation here. I can't stop at anything but the thing.
I've had that feeling carrying groceries home. Have you ever done that where you're like, well, I almost made it. And it's like, but you need to though.
This isn't a graded system. This isn't like you got a 75% and that's a pass. This is a complete or not complete. You either got home or you didn't get home.
Yeah, man.
So that's just where my head's at these last couple of weeks.